Stephanie, Catherine, and our board members at large, Dan Greeny, Dan By, Larry Berg.
Larry Berg?
Berg, I think.
And Jackie.
I could be wrong, but I think.
So anyway, thank you for coming. And so the idea for this sign for the bird blind was, I'll tell you a little about that, and then Dan can talk about how the idea for the bird blind came about. So I usually walk here with my dogs, and I always hear people stop and look at that and go, what is that thing? So I thought we need a sign that explains what that thing is. So Dan Greeny, who's been a board member, used to be the president for a long time and is still a board member, he knows everything about, Bill Oliver and the history of Went to Audubon, now Shasta Birding Society, birding and events and everything we did. So he's going to explain to you what that thing is. So
actually, as far as knowing everything, compared to Bill Oliver, I'm a newcomer in this whole thing. Bill was around back when the chapter first started, 1975, and from the start, he jumped in, and a part of besides keeping the chapter going as president and as just about every office in the thing for a period of, how many years is that? Since 75,
50 years.
He was active for call it 40 years. And besides doing that, one of his special projects was running the annual Christmas bird count. And that event included this area. And for any of you who don't know, the Audubon Christmas bird counts go back to 1901 and comprise the longest, biggest database of biological data that exists in the world. And that's all citizen science, and it's, like I say, back 125 years now. So he made that happen here, and because of that and all the things he did with the chapter for some 40 years of the chapter's existence, the Audubon chapter, when we got to making this bird blind, the thought came up, and it was one of our members right here, Dan By, said, well, let's name it after Bill. And instantly the board said, yes, let's do that. And so we wanted to name it after Bill, in just thanks and recognition to him. The way the bird blind came about is that it was then called the Went-to Audubon Society, now Shasta Birding Society. We approached Turtle Bay. Where's Lorinda? From Turtle Bay, she'll be up here a little bit. And said, hey, can we do this? And so she and I tromped around a bit and said, okay, a place that's accessible, where people can get to, and I see accessibility with the high water, do something with accessibility. But someplace that's accessible, that will have a lot of birds, that'll be usable for both the chapter and for Turtle Bay, as well as just passersby. And we picked this spot. At the time, there was a lot of blackberry growing out. Fortunately, that's been cleared out. And even more fortunately, nature, and in some cases assisted by some plantings that the chapter and Turtle Bay are going to be doing, will get that vegetation in there so the birds have a place to hide, maybe some berries to eat that will bring them in so that they will be visible from the bird blind. The blind itself, so Turtle Bay was on it, and the Shasta Birding Society was on it, and then we had two other things that had to happen to make it be there. One, we needed somebody to build it, and so we had an ongoing relationship with Shiba, the charter school, and Robert's here somewhere, from Shiba, for a few years at that point, they had been supplying the Shasta Birding Society with nesting boxes. What they would do in their wood shop is they took one of our society members, Larry Jordan, has been designing and redesigning and perfecting nesting boxes for years, and so he's got them now with the right ventilation, and you can check into the box and the rainwater won't drip into them. It's all kinds of really wonderful things. So they took that design, and another member of the chapter donated wood, the cedar boards, and then Shiba in their wood shop made these things, and for purposes of our use for them with the annual Earth Day Festival. Thank you, Earth Day Festival. When they began their maker's tent, Shiba would disassemble actually they never assembled them. They made all the cuts, all the boards, and they made kits that we could then get together with kids coming through the maker's tent and have them build, assemble, put in the screw holes and everything, and make their nesting box that they could take home, mount in their yards, and hopefully get some bluebirds or titmice, something like that, nesting in their box. So we were doing that. Shibe had been making these things for a couple years, and so we went to Shibe and said, "Hey, could you guys build a bird blind?" And they said, "Yeah, we could do that." So they came out, you know, and where Lorinda and I had gone walking, they ended up. Well, we needed to fund the thing too, so we went to another member of the Shasta Birding Society, Dave Klassen. And Dave's been around in the community forever. He was the former principal up at the Whiskeytown Environmental School, and then at Chrysalis Charter School, active in the Shasta Land Trust. And Dave, when we discussed it with him, he said, "Oh, whatever you need, let me know." And so we gave Lane Carlson from Shiba, you know, the budget, whatever you need. Let's do it out of Redwood, and so he took charge, got the thing built with the Shiba students, and there it is. And now, as I say, it's been cleared out of the blackberry just recently. Shasta Birding Society and Shiba working on making that happen, and we look forward to new growth going in, and we should have a strong working bird blind as was originally envisioned. So all that is I think I've covered how it came to be, and we look forward to its use. Yes.
When was that built then?
So originally that was built 4 years ago. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions?
That was funny. You're just walking by and suddenly that's there.
Yes. Yes.
When did that happen?
Yeah, they did a good job on it. I see a couple questions, Dave.
No, I just had a question on why it faces the river and not into the woods. I'm not a birder.
One of the considerations we had, if you look at the sun right now,
Right.
okay,
Yeah.
you want the sun behind you to get
True.
the maximum good lighting on the birds.
True.
That's
Okay.
why.
Well, that makes sense.
But it was a concern, and that's why we want that vegetation in. And you can see right now, the city came in and did a lot of, I think, over clearing, and that will.
It'll come back.
Exactly. It'll reduce a lot of the birds that feed and hide in that stuff. But as you say, it'll come
Yeah,
back.
that makes sense.
It'll come back. But yes, that was because of the lighting. Yes.
Okay.
Are they considering putting anything like a water drip there, or like feeders or anything
Tell
behind?
you what, not to my knowledge, but if I were you and wanted to support something like that, I would grab Lorinda after that, who's now, she was at the time the education director for Turtle Bay, but now she's the chief operating officer. So I would talk to her if I wanted to support something like that. Sorry, Lorinda. Yeah.
I just wanted to say that It was Bill Oliver who introduced me to birding. On top of all his other skills, he was a lovely man to walk these trails with. His ear was as good as his eye, and I wonder if there are other people who were introduced to birding by Bill.
Growing up with them, I became a little interested. Went on a couple of Christmas bird counts and stuff. I haven't lived here in a while, but he definitely instilled an appreciation for the natural world in general.
You know,
being a
in
forester
that-
and a
in that
birder.
vein, my relationship with Bill was immensely through birding, through the chapter. But a thing that I always really appreciated about him is, although he was very into birding and did a lot there, he was culturally broadly educated and interested, and he could talk on just about anything and listen on just about
He held
anything.
court.
Yeah.
So
I'd say for myself, I was getting interested in birding, and this is in the early 80s, and that's before you could just go on the internet and find somewhere to go birding. I was actually looking in the newspaper in Reading, and I looked at this small little article in there, and I thought, oh, I'll call this number. I didn't know Bill at the time until I met him, and he picked me up. We went to Fall River, grabs a rubber boat. I'm going, what's that for? And he goes, you'll find out. We went up there to, I guess we call Big Lake now. It was called Hoare Ranch at the time. And I go, this is fascinating. I mean, I just really got into it. I mean, just his passion was just, immediate.
and
I really
and
appreciated that.
and that's the passion that birds are pretty, and they are, and they're neat how they live, and that's the passion that and the experience, I guess, that we hope that people will be able to have with this bird blind. So, all right, I've yacked enough. I should give it back to the MC here.
Thank you, Dan. If you guys stick around at the end in a few minutes, Dan's going to lead a bird walk, and it's very easy, very family friendly, and beginning birders are more than welcome, so stick around. And now that you know a little more about Bill Oliver, if you didn't already, you're going to find out a little more from his son, who actually came for this
I thought
event
you
from
forgot
San
that.
Francisco, so he could say a few words.
I don't have much to say, but I just wanted to thank you all for for this. The bird club and birding was, it was like his main passion for most of his entire life. His mother was a birder. His two sisters were also active, on the East Coast, birding, like New Jersey and Philadelphia area. But he was all about birding and trees, for most of his life.
Forester.
He was a research forester, and he probably did the last good period before budget cuts and all that took place. But it was a good combination. When he went on forestry field trips, he was able to bird and appreciate that. So he had a pretty good gig, and it was a great way for him to just kind of escape the world and go into the woods and just bond and do his thing. But he was very passionate about it. I just keep thinking about like the last year of his life and how he kept active in the club, just down to the very last day. I remember him going to the printers and kind of stressing about the bird lists and just working hard down to the colors of the, it's like 3-color printing and just getting that just so, and becoming mildly annoyed that people didn't want bird lists in paper form anymore because everyone's doing it on their phone or the iPad. But he was definitely old school that way, but he loved the club. He really had a passion for it, and growing up with him, I don't know, I rebelled and I didn't really follow in his footsteps, but I did go on a couple trips, a couple of Christmas bird counts in Fall River, and it's fascinating. Even just this morning, I'm going to be moving into his old house in West Reading, and he has a great kind of back area. It's just facing the river, and just this morning I just saw this. I think it was probably just a turkey vulture, not very interesting to birders, but it was just right there, and it just kind of flew right at the house and just swooped up, and it just felt like a presence. Like, that's probably Dad just trolling me or just telling me to like not, make a fool of him or myself, today. But I mean, the day after he passed, what was the bird again? It was a
Tanager.
Right, Western Tanager, is it?
So, yeah.
I'm sorry. It was a Western Tanager just appeared right there. And then a friend of ours who was close to dead, a Western Tanager appeared right in his yard. It was kind of, I don't know, you have these moments that they're very kind of heartwarming. Anyway, I just wanted to thank you all for doing this. It would have meant the world to him, and he probably thought it would be too much because he's very modest. But we appreciate you all and the energy and the work you put into the club. So, no, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, David. And,
Sure.
And now Robert Waterman.
Like, what's that bird again?
That's the only bird I know besides like eagles.
So we want to thank you and your group for all the work that you've done with Wind to Audubon Society, now Shasta Birding Society. So we wanted to present you this plaque.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and I'll read it so you guys can see. In appreciation, this is to give special thanks to Shiba Cruz for the great work constructing and installing a bird blind on the Turtle Bay Bird Sanctuary Trail, as well as for the development of the site and installation of the new trail sign. Thank you. Okay, and then Lorinda Willard, if you have, because none of this would be possible without Lorinda Willard and our collaboration with Turtle Bay.
Yeah, okay, so my name is Lorinda Willard. I work as the Chief Operating Officer at Turtle Bay. As Dan had mentioned, I started off in the education department, and I've been there for just over 10 years now, which is amazing. So it's been really great getting to work with Shasta Birding Society and Shiba as well in this partnership, and we're definitely looking to continue the growth of partnerships, and I know that the bird walks are going to start up again. We love Catherine as a volunteer at Turtle Bay. She's brought so much to us. So we're really excited to be part of like the regrowth and restoration of native plants here, and I'm so glad that we're able to support this project. So thank you.
All right, and what you've all been waiting for, the bird walk led by Dan Greeny.
And though, before actually we start that, if you turn around and look up on the hill there,
Yes.
Shiba has brought and built some of the nesting boxes and brought them here, and so those are available. We have a handful of them here, so you're welcome to take one and mount it in your yard. I'd recommend on the shady side of the tree because you don't want to cook the babies, and the birds know that. And so we have. How high? These are designed, Larry can tell you about this, these are designed so that you can check the boxes easily and open them up on the side and clean them out after use, okay, which helps keep them clean because, little babies aren't always tidy. Although, parent birds will carry it out. But anyway, so, a convenient height can be just fine.
Basically you want them at eye height, so that, because you have to be able to see inside of it when you open it up to see what's going on. So you don't want it so high that you can't see into it. Most birds like western bluebirds and tree swallows, right at eye height for no matter how tall you are is fine with them.
And these are designed so that the invasive house sparrows won't be able to use them and all that good stuff. So,
Well,
pretty much,
you can't
huh?
totally lock them out.
Yeah.
But
Discouraged.
because they take the same size hole. But
Yes.
if that's an issue, then people can just contact me and I'll take care of it.
There you go. And if we don't have enough right here with the handful of nesting boxes that we brought down, then go to the Earth Day Festival at Caldwell Park this spring, and Shiva's going to make a whole bunch more that you'll be able to assemble right there on the spot, and Larry will be there helping you do that.
What's
okay,
the cost?
Pardon?
The cost?
The cost is a good thank you to Shiva and so, yes.
All right, well,
Okay.
thanks everyone for coming to our event, and Stephanie, thank you so much for making this happen. Yeah, for all your time and effort.
And hold on, Stephanie, you have some binoculars, do you?
I do. I was going to check in this group.
So if you would like to go for a little bird walk, we're going to do that. And if you need binoculars, see Stephanie in the red coat right there. And you do want binoculars if you're going to come on the thing. You can borrow them from Stephanie. Thank you all very much. Have a great day.
Thanks, Dan.